Hello YouTube, my name is Tyler and this is the third week of April reading vlog. It is April 15th and I just ran to the library. I needed to renew my card, so I also took that as an opportunity to walk around and get some books. I managed to control myself, so there's only 2 books, but I just wanted to do this little baby haul at the beginning of the vlog since it's the beginning of the vlog. Anyways, so I got Elatsoe by Darcy Little Badger. I didn't go with anything in mind particularly, but I was actually looking for Fonda Lee's sci-fi YA series, so I was in the YA section and I saw Elatsoe. I didn't even realize this was YA, so it surprised me. And this has been on my TBR for a while. I really liked Darcy Little Badger's story in the Love After the End anthology. So this is a book that Kayla has read and liked, and she really likes Darcy Little Badger too. So this has been on the TBR, so I think this will probably be my April Indigenous read. I will probably hop into this once I finish The Burning God, which I have like 200 pages left in, so soon. The other thing I picked up, which I have heard nothing about, was not on my TBR, but was in the new book section. Biography of X by Catherine Lacey. Y'all know I am a sucker for a book with like a gimmick. So when X, an iconoclastic artist, writer, and tiger cat and polarizing shapeshifter, falls dead in her office, her widow CM, wild with grief and refusing everyone's good advice, hurls herself into writing a biography of the woman she deified. Though X was recognized as a crucial creative force of her era, she kept a tight grip on her life story. Not even CM knows where X was born, and in her quest to find out, she opens a Pandora's box of secrets, betrayals, and destruction. All of the Southern Territory, a fascist theocracy that split from the rest of the country after World War II, and which finally, in the present day, is being forced into an uneasy reunification, a masterfully constructed literary adventure complete with original images as assembled by X's widow. Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, there's like a alternate history, there's like pictures in this. It is kind of like a biography of this person, but also telling the story of figuring out about X. So I'm excited about it. Hopefully it's good, lives up to the hope, the hype of the plot description on the back. But like I said, I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I don't actually know how, oh, it's raining. I don't know how new this is because they'll put older books on the new shelf if it's like recently acquired. So, oh no, this was published this year. So I'm intrigued to read this. So that's my little baby haul. Just a quick little check-in about some books I picked up and look forward to reading. So I will see y'all later this week with my thoughts on The Burning God and the Poppy War series in general, and whatever else I get into this week. So I will see y'all later. Bye! Hello, it is April 16th. I have finished The Burning God. I have finished, well, not quite, I haven't quite finished the Poppy War series. I've discovered that the short story is in the back of this, but I won't be able to read that tonight because Succession comes on in like 10 minutes. So, but I have finished the main trilogy. I just finished this. The last, I don't know, 15 pages had me hollering. I'm gonna give this a 4, maybe a 4.5. I don't know, it feels like a 4, but I liked it more than book 2. But some of the problems I was having with book 2, I was still having in this. I felt like a lot of repeated ground, like in the beginning of this, where she discovers that she needs to, like, I mean, I guess light spoilers through this. She realizes she needs to work with the Empress, the Viperess, and it kind of felt like we were like back I don't know, in the beginning of book 2, like, I don't know, some of the stuff just felt like she was having the same thoughts over and over again. And I think I still felt like I just wanted some more emotional depth. The first book was just like absolutely perfect for me. But like I didn't dislike books 2 and 3, but they just didn't quite pack the emotional punch I was hoping for. And I think something that I feel like the books 2 and 3 could have really, what is the word I'm looking for? It really could have like used some other perspectives. I wanted to hear more from Kate and Neza throughout books 2 and 3. I also felt like book 2 maybe could have been shortened a little bit, which has nothing to do with book 3. But there was some wild and crazy things that happened in here. The choices made at the end were insane. I definitely expected more people, like main characters, to die throughout the series. I'm not going to say who is or isn't dead in book 3, but I expected it to happen more throughout the whole series just because of how violent people described it as. So I kind of expected it to be like Ren is the only one that still exists in book 3, which is not quite what happened, but it's definitely violent. People are definitely dying. I enjoy this like triumvirate 2.0 of Kate, Rin, and Neza, especially with Neza being like the bad guy, the villain. Really enjoy that dynamic in general. I know there's like a little bit of like feelings between Rin and Neza, but I appreciate that like it never gets into romance, and there's like never any weird romance stuff between Rin and Kate. Like she has always been very clear that he is her best friend, which I really enjoy. Just like, I don't know, as an ace woman, I appreciate some just good best friend vibes. So yeah, enjoyed it. The end was crazy. I will say my favorite part of this actually was the ravine battle at like, I don't know, 75% in, where Rin and her army and Neza and his army meet in the ravine, and they have a battle, and it reveals some new powers on the battlefield, and wow, that was nuts. I will say I didn't fully comprehend the like lightning Hesperian stuff going on. Like I thought I understood it, and then it seemed like I didn't understand it. I don't know. I will say I'm not an avid fantasy reader, so that's probably an error on my end. But yeah, 4 stars is where I'm going to sit with this. I could definitely see this being good rereads because they are so quick and plot based, that I could just see like these getting quicker and quicker to read, because you know what's coming. I don't know if they're going to really be heavy rereads for me. I could possibly see myself rereading The Poppy War somewhat regularly. I feel like that was like the perfect fantasy book for me, even though it does kind of end on a cliffhanger. I think it could have been like a good ending to a standalone too, where you're just like, what madness? Because it ends with like Rin talking about how she's going to take down the Empire and she's gonna burn the world down basically. And like, yeah, that sets up book 2, but also could just be like, you could imagine like a world with Rin as powerful as she is, and it could end there, if that makes sense. So I feel like book 1 really was just like the perfect book for me because, you know, I don't know, the first quarter she really doesn't have any powers. There's not a whole lot of fantastical stuff going on, and then it builds into some madness. So yeah, anyways, those are my thoughts on The Poppy War. I'll probably come check back in tomorrow, I don't know, afternoon, when I finish The Drowning Faith. I will count that as a separate book because it's listed on Goodreads, and I feel like it. So anyways, I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye. Hello YouTube. It is April 17th. Yes, today is April 17th. I'm getting a late start. I was really tired this morning and I just like could not get going. So I'm going to do my treadmill walk in my pajamas. And I'm gonna read The Drowning Faith while I do it, and I thought I would just record a little clip of me doing that, and then maybe give you my thoughts. Leave that running because it was just a quick little short story. This, I feel like the short story really brings home for me that I really do think these books would have been better if they had at least Neza's perspective. I still think Kate should have gotten some perspective too. Not to say they were bad, I just think, I don't know, I just think they could have also pushed forward the plot in similar ways, but we would have gotten more perspective from the other characters. Not only perspective of Rin, but of them, so we could understand their relationships a little bit better. But that was an enjoyable little short story. I'll probably give that a 4 too. I did enjoy it. The other thing is because it skips around through the entire Poppy War trilogy, it did take a little bit of like stopping and starting to like figure out where this part of the story was taking place. So again, I feel like that contributes to like, maybe these little bits and pieces should have been throughout the series so we would have known Neza's perspective on certain things as we were reading. But yeah, I'll give it 4 stars just because I feel like it. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to doing my walk now. Bye. Hello, it is the same day. It is April 17th and I just finished reading Women Talking by Miriam Taves, I believe. The only other person I've seen with that last name is pronounced Taves. So anyways, I didn't really enjoy this very much. 2 stars. It is fiction, but is based on a true story. Oh my god, my battery's about to die. Lovely. Okay, as I was saying, this is a book. It is a fiction book, but it is based on a true story that happened in Bolivia. There was a Mennonite community that, over the course of many years, the men in the community were drugging women in the community and raping them in their sleep. Well, in their drugged sleep. And the women had been saying that they were having these weird dreams, and the men were like convincing them that it was like the devil, basically. And eventually it came to light. The perpetrators had gone to jail. But in the beginning of the book, she talks about how this is kind of like a fictional grappling with this story. And so it's basically that, except it is about the women in this community, and they're deciding whether they're going to stay and fight or if they are going to leave the community. And it had a lot of potential. I did enjoy some of the conversations these women were having about how their religion was informing these decisions, how they could truly know if they were really understanding the Bible because they can't read, and so the Bible had always been interpreted to them through men who they are like trying to leave because they do not feel safe and they don't think their children are safe. So I found that stuff to be interesting. However, for some reason, I mean, I guess I understand, like, based on the end, but I, in general, do not understand why this book is told from the perspective of a man. There is, like, a reason that, like, kind of ties it all together. At the end, like, there's a connection between the man who's telling the story with what is happening to the women. But I just hated his constant, like, asides trying to clarify what the women are saying, or like putting his little 2 cents in about how beautiful Ona is, blah blah blah. I just hated it. I did not get it. I don't think the reveal at the end like makes up for how annoying he was through the whole book. I just don't. The whole book is like spent over 24 hours, and they are in a loft, a barn loft, deciding their options. They're talking. This whole book is just women talking. It is the title. But there's no fucking quotations. There are no quotations around the dialogue, and it was so irritating to read. I had read some reviews earlier, and people were talking about how much they love this author's dialogue. I could not stand it. I hated the way these people, like how the dialogue was written. I hated it. And someone described it as like quintessentially Canadian lit. And that had me thinking, because I think that same comment, or maybe a different one, had mentioned Margaret Atwood, who is also like Canadian, and I fucking hate The Handmaid's Tale, which also I'm pretty sure does not have dialogue quotations around the dialogue. I hate it so much. So I don't think I'm a Canadian lit person. I mean, I'm not really much of a contemporary lit or like literature at large person, so I guess that's not surprising. But this had so much potential. When I read the intro, I was like, oh, this is gonna be really interesting. I'm interested to see how they're gonna grapple with this like religious community that has been gaslighted basically by the males in the community, this community that this is all they've ever known, and how they're gonna grapple with that. And there were some little bits and pieces, but like overall the writing of this, the choices made, I just like could not deal with it. And the only reason I finished it was because I needed something to read in bed while I was working on the Burning God. So I would read a couple pages at a time, and it's really short. It's like 220 pages. And so I could read like 10 pages before bed. And then today I was just like, I had less than 100 pages and I was just like, I have to finish this. I have to finish this. If I read this another day, I will be DNFing it. And I'm already struggling with the impossible community, which I'm fighting the DNF on that too. So anyways, yeah, I didn't have a good time. I did enjoy some of the bits and pieces, but overall, I don't think Miriam Toews is the author for me, or Canadian lit for that matter. So I am missing the beginning of playoff hockey. So I'm gonna go now and run upstairs. Goodbye. Hi, it is April 20th and I'm officially calling it quits on the impossible community. I can't do it. All week I've just been seeing it on my side table and coming up with every excuse to not read it. And like, I don't want to pick it up. And when I do pick it up, I'm not getting anything out of it. The ratings for it, I don't think there are like a ton, but they do seem to be pretty positive. So I'm just of the opinion that like, I just do not have the base of knowledge to understand and enjoy this book. I can't do it anymore. I thought eventually at some point it would like start to click, or I would start to understand more of it, and I'm just not. I don't feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. It feels like a waste of my time. So I don't know. I'm curious about anarchy, but these political philosophical books just like aren't doing it for me. I need something written for, I don't know, a child. I need something that focuses on like real communities and tangible effects of like tangible negative effects of statism, as the anarchists like to call them, versus like positive effects of anti-statism, anarchy. I need to see anarchy in action in positive ways, and like I am almost halfway in. I'm like 45% in or something, and I'm just like, I'm over it. I hate it. I was like reading the chapter about utopia, and like so much of it was being used as like utopia is a bad thing, and the one that really got to me was utopia as escapism, and talking about how that's like a negative thing. And like I don't agree. Like so much of this book is like taking down other like political thought about like the state, and like I haven't read those other things either, so like it's like trying to explain this stuff, but like I still feel like I'm getting lost in it. The way he writes, there's like phrases within phrases of a sentence, like trying to hold on to any single thought, like what the main thesis of any given sentence is a nightmare. I can't stand the way this is written. It's not giving me what I want, so I'm DNFing it, which is a bummer because I definitely paid full price for this. And like I'm curious about anarchy. Maybe I could come around on being anti-status, but like everything I have picked up so far has just been like a nightmare. and it's not convincing me to move away from the state, if I'm being quite honest, if this is like the argument. Anyways, so I'm DNFing that. I am reading a whole bunch of other stuff though. I finally started Elatsoe. I'm reading that. I started On a Sunbeam, reading that. I'm reading that one much more slowly than I thought. Part of that is because I kept trying to save space and make room to fit in my reading of this and then just not doing it. So I'll probably pick up the pace on a Sunbeam now that I don't have to worry about this. I'm also reading The Seep, which I started last night, and I'm listening to an audiobook. What audiobook am I listening to? Rise and Fall of Neoliberalism, which I think I'm like 50% into, maybe 60, somewhere around there. I would not be surprised if I end up finishing that tonight, because there's no hockey tonight. And I think I'm gonna go downstairs and work on some projects and stuff after dinner, and probably listen to my audiobook then. So yeah, I think that's really all I have as an update for now. I will see y'all when I finish a book. Bye. Hello, it is April 22nd. This is the last day of the vlog. I just lost my train of thought. It is the last day of the vlog, and I just finished reading elatsoe. I've been saying elatsoe, but in the book it does explain that it's pronounced elatsoe. Anyways, so I finished this. I'm going to give it 4 stars. It is a YA book, which is probably why it's not like a 5-star read for me. So this book is about Ellie. Her real name is elatsoe. She is kind of named after her 6th great grandma. Anyways, her whole family, her lineage, has the ability to call the dead. So she has a ghost dog, and it takes place in Texas, in America. However, ghosts and monsters and paranormal things are very common. She wants to be like a paranormal investigator when she graduates college. So her brother, nope, sorry, not brother, her cousin dies in a car accident, but his ghost comes to her and lets her know that it was not an accident. And so this whole book is her trying to get justice, I guess, for her cousin, and evolves into kind of a paranormal mystery, I guess. Although I will say, like, from the beginning, it's very clear who did it, and it's just kind of like putting all the pieces together and then defeating that person. There's not a lot of like red herrings, or like obstacles necessarily. Like, it's very clear who is the culprit, and it's just like finding, like I said, putting all the pieces together, and then defeating that person. It's a very straightforward story. There's not like just a lot of like treading the same ground or anything. Like, it's always going forward. It is interesting. She's like 17, but it reads very young to me. Like, it reads like she's 15. It reminds me a lot of the middle grade book I read. What was it called? The Last Quintista. Like, the tone and like the vibe of it reminded me a lot of that. Like, the writing of it. It felt strangely young. I'm guessing the fact that it's like about a murder is like the main piece, is why it's YA. Although the fact that she's like supposed to be 17, I guess, also makes it YA, but it reads very young to me. It does kind of remind me of like the Good Girl Guide to Murder series, in that like Ellie is like trying to solve this mystery crime, in a similar way to like how Pip is also trying to solve crime. But it's not quite, it's not, the murder is the heart of it, but like it does not feel like a thriller, YA thriller in the way that like Good Girl's Guide to Murder does. But that's what it reminds me of. Like if you combined The Last Quintista with Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Hi, hello, I am editing this video right now and you'll have to ignore the fact that I'm on my treadmill. I have a microphone plugged into my computer and I hope it is working properly. While editing this and listening to me talk about Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I realized that I think the Truly Devious series by Maureen, I wanted to say Prescott, but that's from Scream. Maureen somebody, I don't know. Anyway, Johnson? That Truly Devious series, I feel like is the better comp for elatsoe. I think their tones, in the level of like darkness, is much more similar than Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Good Girl's Guide to Murder is much more about like true crime. And while it has like a girl detective, and that's like similar to elatsoe, the Truly Devious series also has a girl detective. And I feel like their vibes are actually a little more similar. They're a little lighter, they both feel a little bit younger. I still feel like elatsoe is younger than Truly Devious, but they both are young. And they just feel a little more whimsical. While Truly Devious like takes place in our reality, there isn't like ghosts and things. I feel like that is the better comp. So I just wanted to pop in and mention that. I enjoyed it. I did find it just like a little distracting because she was, like I said, she was supposed to be 17, but she read like a 15-year-old to me, and maybe that's just like I'm in my 30s. I'm very far removed from teenagers and my own teenage experience, and I'm just like maybe remembering myself as like feeling and acting older and being treated as older at 17 versus 15, and maybe that's not accurate, not an accurate memory of what being 17 was like. The other thing I found odd was I was under the impression that Ellie and Jay, who was like her friend, partner through this whole book, were like best friends through all of childhood. But they like, some of the dialogue and conversations and things they were discovering about each other through this book, I was like, why don't you know that about each other already? Which again, like contributed to like the young feeling of this, but also made it seem like they weren't best friends. This felt like they should have like accidentally became partners in this crime for some reason, and they were learning about each other. Like maybe they had grown up in the same town together, but for some reason they both had a connection to this crime, and so they needed to work on it together. That's like what their relationship was giving me, but that's not, I'm pretty sure, what was on the page. Maybe I misread something. But yeah, I was like under the impression that they were lifelong friends. So some of the scenes and conversations between them, I was just like, what? Anyways, it's Saturday. I have to go do some stuff. My husband is at a zine fair, somewhat locally, so I need to get dressed, and I want to go to that and check in and see what things are doing. I also want to go to the thrift bookstore that's out that way. So I'm not going to bring the camera for that. I don't even know if I'm going to buy books or not. If I do end up buying books, I'll do a little more hauling in this vlog, and then I'll close it out. But I haven't done my reading journal updates, that stuff yet. So you're not going to get that right now. I'll have to check in a little later today to like fully close out this vlog. So I will see you then. Bye. Hi, Tiger Cat. Come on. Come on. Tiger Cat. I'm trying to record, bud. Hello. Long time no see. It's been a few hours. I didn't get any books at the bookstore, so there is no haul. So I'm just going to close out this vlog here. I finished 5 books this week. I finished The Burning God and The Drowning Faith by R.F. Kuang. Those were the last little bit of the Poppy War trilogy, and then like a little short story collection. Gave both of those 4 stars. I read Women Talking by Miriam Taves, which I didn't enjoy very much. Gave that 2 stars. I finished Elatsoe today, which I gave 4 stars. And then I also read a cleaning book, The 1 Minute Cleaner. And it's like a collection of 500 easy cleaning tips. I didn't talk about it because there wasn't really anything to say. Like, that sums it up. I gave it 3 stars because it wasn't bad, but it didn't do a whole lot for me either. So yeah, my goodness, it's been a long day. I'm tired. That is what my reading has been this month. Doing a lot of catch up now that I finished the Poppy War. Hoping I can kind of get back into the regular swing of my reading. So yeah, I am carrying over a few books into next week. That would be The Seep, On a Sunbeam, and The Rise and Fall of Neoliberalism. I don't think that's the full title, but it's something along those lines. Those are what I'm currently reading, listening to. I will probably finish the audiobook, the Neoliberalism book. Tiger Cat, my God. I'll probably finish that tomorrow, honestly. I think I have like 2 hours left. Anyways, that's the vlog for this week. I'm gonna go before Tiger Cat starts screaming and or makes me drop my camera. So I will see y'all next week with the wrap-up ? I have no idea when this one is supposed to come out. So I don't know. I'll see you next week with a video. Bye.